Hey everybody, welcome to the GMG review. Today we're taking a look at Warhammer 40,000 Codex Chaos Space Marines, and boy howdy, this is a big one. And it's also kind of complicated as far as like how I'm actually going to accomplish this. So this was kindly sent along as a complimentary review copy by Games Workshop and is the, I guess, non-cult troop Heretic Astartes books for Warhammer 40k. Now, if you don't really know what those words mean, basically it's all the Chaos Space Marine legions from the Horus Heresy who aren't like special enough to be the sort of like poster boys of one of the Chaos Gods have their rules in here. With Codex World Leaders on its way, I guess, Codex Death Guard and Codex Thousand Suns all out. They're referred to in this book, and this sort of features the more space piratey Black Legion oriented Chaos Space Marines. Now what that means is there's a lot of rules in here, and I mean like almost like a Liber Hereticus from the Horus Heresy amount of rules. I'm actually going to break this into a bunch of reviews. I think it's going to be more digestible. If I try and do this as in one go, this is going to be like a 3-hour video, and that feels like both painful for me to do and painful for you to watch. And the second half of that is I kind of have to ignore parts of this new codex that isn't out yet in favor of reviewing this, Warzone Nephilim, the Grand Tournament Pack, because most of the people watching this video want to play with whatever the current official competitive rules are, and all of the legions referred to in here have a bespoke like secondary objective that gets replaced in this book. So I'm gonna have to flip back and forth a little bit during the individual legion reviews, and actually even during the review of this book, to talk about what sort of like I hate using the word correct, but like the way that if you're going to go to an event or even play a stranger, because everybody plays 40k as if they're practicing for like the major event tournament thing, the way that I think the people watching the video would want it to be done. So this is a bit more complicated than normal, and it's going to be a bit more time intensive. So for this video that you're watching right now, and this is kind of a preamble, I'm going to go through all the core units and the core faction stuff that applies to everybody. Then I'm going to go legion by legion and do individual videos, and that's going to be an additional, oh geez, so just looking at the index here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, not legions, but 6 legions, and then there's the Red Corsairs and the Creations of Bile who have separate army lists as well. So like, it's a lot. So again, and each of them doesn't just have like a single Warlord trait and a single like relic. They all get like a full court press, stratagems, relics, 6 Warlord traits, the whole 9 yards. There's like 4 to 5 pages for each of these like factions on top of like the core rules in this book. So what I'm going to focus on here is the core stuff as well as the core secondaries, because everything in here explicitly replaces the new information in this book. And yeah, and it's gonna I hope make these videos better to watch. Once again, I apologize that I've dropped 9 videos into your timeline. I know I did that one. I did 20 on Horus Heresy pre-release day. I'm gonna do 9 videos today, plus looking on the paint table, so 10, it's only half as many. It's 10 videos. But they all deserve, like, they're all individual codexes basically based on this key codex. So watch this one, then go watch your favorite sub-faction keyword, and we'll jump in and you'll know the rules for what you want. But I felt like it was unfair to just like skip it all, so I'm just gonna break it into individual videos. So let's jump in. Now you got that preamble about how kind of complicated this release is by the Warzone Nephilim Grand Tournament Pack, why I'm gonna jump back and forth and stuff. So like I said, this is a big book, and it's predominantly rules, to be honest. It doesn't look as big as the Space Marine book because there's actually not as many data sheets, but there is a ton of like the kind of like floating mental load stuff, which is Warlord traits and secondaries and stratagems and all that stuff. So we got 184 pages here, full color, obviously. There is quite a bit going through both the original Traitor Legions and also, you can see here, like right down the Emperor's Children. The Alpha Legion, like gone full chaos. The Sweet Iron Warriors, which is what I'm painting. The Night Lords, my favorite space Batmans. And then the Word Bearers. And of course, the Black Legion, the poster child, which is the former Sons of Horus / Luna Wolves / a lot of other things, actually. Because if you read the Black Legion books, they've actually, the Aaron Times Battle one's really good. They're actually like, they're kind of the disenfranchised now. They're almost the opposite of what Horus wanted. And then into the modern stuff, you've got the Fabulous Bile and his like creations, right? So former Emperor's Children Chief Apothecary, who starts making weird stuff. And here on Black Knight, the Space Pirate, the Betrayed, who falls to Chaos in the modern times, and has now crossed the Rubicon Primaris, because they steal all that stuff, and becomes a big old Primaris Marine. So yeah, color section. The art's still super weird. I like this guy. It's such a weird, I don't know why, I don't know why that makes me so happy, but that piece of art just makes me laugh. Bonus color schemes, and of course the great new Legionary models who all have 2 wounds. A lot of stuff's been spoiled in Warhammer community. The big reveals, they all have 2 wounds and stuff. Extra attacks. They're like not Primaris, but they're all tough and whatchamacallit, and sort of like experienced. New Cultist minis, which are very cool and match the Cultist from Blackstone Fortress quite well. And go great with this stuff. The Accursed Cultist like spawns. So all these, again, if you're like a hashtag 28 modeler, these miniatures are phenomenal. These cool like half demonic cultists and stuff. And the cultist stuff actually gets kind of put to the forefront a little bit, which I think is cool. Get a little bit more. Because the Chaos Space Marine's got a nice upgrade recently, but the new Possessed and the new Cultists, I think, go a long way to creating like that, you know, these are the freaks that follow us around. Although still using the old, although they're still nice, the old Raptors. The new Possessed and Warpsmith from the Soulforge box. And of course, the all the sort of like evil Mechanicus, dark Mechanicus-y stuff too, and the Demon Engines. So nice color section. So we're jumping into the rules. So this is where we get to the rules for, of course, all the 3 ways to play: narrative, open, and match play. And you've got this whole like sort of like legions thing. It says traitor legions and beyond. It's just basically clarifying right here that some of these are legions and some of these are things that kind of act like legions. So lumping in the Creations of Bile and the Red Corsairs, it's just saying like we know they're not Chaos Space Marine legions like from a historical point of view, but rules wise we just treat them as such in that it just is, it facilitates like them being the same kind of organization. New Comm Patrol box, obviously, which is kind of cool. You're gonna get, it looks like 10 Chaos Space Marines, 5 Havocs. There's a bunch of heavy weapons in there. You get the Demagogue, and you get a Hellbrute. Nice models all. I'd actually be excited to paint that for my Iron Warriors. These are all great models. And some kind of like Chaos, he looks like a hero actually. Or maybe the Havocs are on 40s, is that what it is? Yeah, the Havocs are on 40s, not 32s. That's why he looks so big. All right, jumping into detachment abilities. So what do you get when you are in a Chaos Space Marine detachment? So it is one that includes models with the Traitor Astartes keywords and excludes any models with Agent of Chaos or unaligned. So things that are Agent of Chaos and unaligned, if you look at Cultist Mobs, right? They are Chaos and they do have the Traitor Astartes keywords. They don't break your detachment ability, they're just to jump in front of that. Traitors Astartes units and you notice it's not Heretics Astartes anymore, it's Traitorous Astartes. Units in the Chaos Space Marine abilities, detachments gain the Legion trait special ability, and Legion traits come a little bit later. They're your Legion section. And all Legion units in a Legion detachment, excluding Cultist units and units described in the Slave's Darkness rule, will gain a Legion trait. And on these pages, you will find the Legion trait associated with each Legion. Note that each Legion only applies if every unit in your army has the Traitor Astartes keyword, Agent of Chaos, or unaligned keyword. Note that Abaddon the Spoiler will only gain a Legion trait if every Legion unit in the army is from the Black Legion. So, like, you don't have a choice. You got to take a Traitor Legion here. And then troops in a Chaos Space Marine attachment gain the Objective Secured ability as described in the 40k rulebooks. That means all your troops are OBSEC. Champions of Chaos, so all your detachments can have a maximum of 1 Chaos Lord, 1 Demon Prince, and 1 Dark Commune unit in your army. Now, Dark Commune is like a new keyword, and what it basically means is like your baby characters. So things like, oh my god, there's so much like pre-rolls before you actually get to the data sheets, it's crazy. Master Position, for instance, is a... Where is it? Dark Commune. Oh no, so he's the master, but he's the regular character. Where is the Dark Commune? I think that's the priests. Sorcerer is character, infantry, psyker, terminator, sorcerer lord. Demon engine, demon lord, discordant, infantry character, warsmith. Where's Dark Commune? I remember seeing it, and I thought it was all the cults. Oh, here we go, Dark Commune. It's this thing, the cult demagogue stuff. So the Dark Commune is the cult leader, basically. And he gets an amazing, like, sort of like host of characters that go with him, which are awesome. I like this guy because his head's on a stick. The Mind Witch. He's amazing. So basically one, like, Lord level character of each type. And then mere mortals, you cannot include more cultist units than Traitorous Astartes core infantry units in each Chaos Space Marine detachment in your army. So no spamming the cultist units to fill in your troop choices. A cultist character model cannot be your Warlord if your army contains any Heretic Astartes characters. So if you take the cultist commune, he can be your Warlord, or another cult character, but if there's any other Space Marines, they just take over. The little humans don't, they don't get that. And then Legion traits. All Traitorous Astartes units, excluding cults and Agents of Chaos, with this ability and all models in them, gain a Legion trait, provided by each Legion unit, is from the same Legion. And the trait gain depends upon which Legion they are from, as shown in the following pages. So World Leaders, Thousand Sons, Death Guard, and Emperor's Children. If your Legion does not have an associated set of Legion rules, you must select the Legion rules from your army to use C opposite. So one of these. So if you want to play as a Legion thing, then you must select Legion rules for your army. So if your army is battle-forged, Legion units in your Chaos Space Marine detachment gain access to the following Legion rules, provided every Legion unit from your army is from the same Legion. If every Legion unit is a Chaos Space Marine detachment is from the same Legion, then they are referred to as a Legion detachment. And a Legion detachment does not have any associated Legion rule, so if you wish to make a force for a selection, select the Legion from the following list, which whose character's fighting style represents your own the best, like Black Legion, Word Bearers, Night Lords, Iron Warriors, Alpha Legion, Red Corsairs, Creations of Bile. Write down your name and then replace the name in all instances with that name instead. So basically, you don't have to do like a make your own Chaos Legion, you just replace the name of one of these legions with that legion. So the named characters that belong to Legion you select still belong to that Legion, and any abilities that have that Legion's keyword will not apply to units from another Legion. So when using Huron Blackheart, the Tyrant of Bad Ev's ability, you cannot select a unit that is not from the Red Corsairs, but is using the Red Corsairs Legion rules in the way described above. So if you fake it, you don't get the special characters to be able to lead your army, basically, is what it's saying. And then Legion traits, all Legion units in a Legion detachment, excluding cultists, will gain Legion trait as presented on pages 78 to 105. So that's all of these Legion traits. And provided you're all from the same army, and note that Abaddon only gets that if he's part of a Black Legion army. And then chapter-approved secondary objectives. So now, this one's kind of ironic. Every single Legion also gets their own secondary printed in here, and I think they're mostly the same. So it doesn't, I'm hoping they're mostly the same. But for instance, the Black Legion one, the wording may be slightly different. So even if it says that you're using this one in here, you're actually using, yeah, so it's Despoiled Dominions. They have the same name, but if any part of it's changed, and I'm pretty sure these are just reprints of what's in here, then you would have to replace what's in this book with here. I've been through about half of them now. I'm 99% sure that the ones in this book are just reprints of what's in the Codex. So you can just read what's in the Codex and be fine with it, but you need to check each one to make sure they're the same, basically. And in the future, they may not be, right? Because they may get replaced again. So, but it looks like so far, what's in here is actually what's in the Warzone Nephilim Grand Tournament pack. You're just not supposed to read out of this book. You're supposed to read out of that book when it comes down to it. And then your Warlord traits, stratagems, relics, chaos all get picked out of here. So just to give you an overview, like for instance, you get a Legion trait, which is like a special ability. You get 6 Warlord traits. You get a bunch of stratagems for that that faction, and a whole bunch of relics as well. And that's just Black Legion, right? So each of them is getting like 4 pages of special rules, basically. And that's why we're going to break these apart and do them individually when we're all said and done. And that's it. So that's your core stuff. Now, you also have the Slaves to Darkness rule. And that is that some traders have given themselves entirely the service of the Dark Gods and are so lost in damnation that they barely resemble the warriors they once were. So if you have the marker Khorne, you can include Khorne Berserkers units in a Chaos Space Marine attachment using the data sheets and point values found in Codex World Leaders. So if you want to use Khorne Berserkers, you're not going to find them in here. They aren't in this book. There are no Khorne Berserkers, right? No rules for them. So basically what they're doing is they're splitting out all the cult troops and having them be in their own separate books and then referring to them here. So no reprinting, which cuts down the Denver data sheets in the book, which is kind of cool, but at the same time, you need to have another codex if you ever want to use Khorne Berserkers. So you can include Khorne Berserkers units in a Chaos Space Marine detachment using the data sheets and point values for them found in the Codex World Leaders. Such units, when included in a Chaos Space Marine detachment, always are elites. Must replace all their faction keywords with Chaos, Khorne, Heretic Astartes, Traitorous Astartes, Legion. Gain Let the Galaxy Burn, and then must be upgraded to have the mark of Khorne and never get a Legion trait. So you're locked at a Legion. And then you can include Rubric Marines at a Chaos. It's the same qualifiers basically. Except for the Rubric Marines, they must be upgraded to have the Mark of Tzeentch, and the Aspiring Sorcerer knows Smite and 1 Psychic Power from the Dark Hereticus discipline, and they don't get a Legion trait. Plague Marines, the same thing. Must be upgraded with the Mark of Nurgle, lose the Bubonic Astartes keyword, and never gain a Legion trait. You can include Noise Marines, use units in a Chaos Space Marine attachment using the data sheets and point values found in this book, because there's no Emperor's Children Codex, so that's still like TBD, so they're actually reprinted in here. They always have the troops battlefield rule if every unit in their detachment is from the Emperor's Children Legion. They never gain a Legion trait unless every unit in their detachment, including Agents of Chaos and Unaligned, is from the Emperor's Children Legion. So if you're playing Emperor's Children, so basically because they don't have their own codex, they get a baby version of their own codex as long as you're using the Emperor's Children Legion. So until such time as there is a full codex for them, they'll just be out of this book. And that's the core stuff. So I'm going to skip over the Legion stuff. We've got our little color section in between here, and we're into more of the generic stuff. So these are the generic stratagems all the legions can take, right? So everybody has access to these. So for 1 CP, Death of the False Emperor, uses in the fight phase when a Traitorous Astartes unit from your army is selected to fight until the end of the phase. Each time a Heretic Astartes model in that unit makes a melee attack against the Astartes or Sanctic Astartes unit, you can roll the hit roll. So the Greatness don't get away with this. Demon Forge, used in the shooting phase or the fight phase when a Traitorous Astartes Demon Engine unit from your army is selected to shoot or fight. Until the end of the phase, improve its weapon skill and ballistic skill by 1. If the unit has the Titanic keyword, it costs 2, otherwise it costs 1. So basically like jazz up your demon unit or your demon engine. Fury of Khorne, if you have the mark of Khorne and you fight until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack and hit roll of 6 unmodified automatically wounds. Grand Feather's Blessing for 1 or 2 CPs. If you pick a Traitorous Astartes Nurgle unit from your army, as the target of an attack, you get transhuman basically. If the unit's 5 or fewer models, it costs 1, otherwise it costs 2. Hatred Eternal, Chaos Space Marines use a stratagem in the end of your shooting phase or at the end of the fight phase. Select a Legionnaires unit from your army. If it's the shooting phase, that unit can shoot again. If it's the fight phase and that unit's in engaged range, it can fight again for 2 CPs. So that's a neat one. You can either double shoot or double fight if you're a Legionnaire unit. So Legionnaires basically means all the foot troops. So like, but not the, like it's not even core, like it's just sort of like the cult Legionnaire stuff. So let's look at who qualifies for that. So not Terminators, not, there you go. So Legionnaires, just basically the core troops. Yeah, because I think they have Legionnaires. I don't even think the Havocs have it. I think it's just them. So it's just your regular guys. Fighting again, Masters don't. Yeah, they didn't give it to Chaos Terminators. Do Chosen have it? Because Chosen are just jumped up Legionnaires. No, they don't either. Do any of the other basic bros have Legionnaires? The Bikers don't. Raptors don't. Warp Talons don't. Havocs don't either. So it's just your basic boys. They can fight or they can shoot again. Murderous Perfection for 1 CP. Use this in the shooting phase or the fight phase when a Astartes Slanesh unit from your army is selected to shoot or fight. Once during that phase, when resolving an attack made by a model in that unit, you can change the result of a hit roll, wound roll, or damage roll to 6. Note that if a D3 is being rolled as part of the damage roll, then the 6 is halved down to a 3. Veterans of the Long War for 2. Use it in the shoot or fight phase when a Traitorous Astartes infantry or biker unit from your army is going to shoot or fight. You can reroll whenever you make an attack. You can add 1 to the wound roll. Wrath of the Chosen, Terminators and Chosen are selected to shoot or fight until the end of the phase. Each time a model in that unit makes an attack, add 1 to the attack's hit roll. And Veterans is 2 to add 1 to wound roll, and Wrath of the Chosen is 1. So those are all your tactical ones. We're into the Epic Deeds. So the Blasphemous Machines for 2 or 1 CP. Use it in your command phase. Select 1 Traitorous Astartes Machine Spirit or Demon Engine model in your army that has a wounds characteristic of 10 or more. Until the start of your next command phase, that model is considered to have its full wounds remaining for the purpose of determining if it's characteristics. If it's Titanic, it's 2, otherwise it costs 1. So again, you just like Hulk out with demonic energies. Fell Prayers, use a stratagem at the start of any of your phases other than the command phase. Select one Traitorous Astartes Priest model from your army. It's not chanted yet. That model can chant a prayer. It's not been chanted by a friendly model this turn. And it's automatically heard and takes effect until the start of your next command phase. That costs 2. So your prayers are pretty awesome, and they've actually done quite a bit, I think, to improve priests here. Let's see an example of what that is. Dark Hereticus, Maleficus, Prayers of the Dark Gods. So like Wrathful Energies for Khorne and Khorne characters within 6 of the Priest. Each time a model in the unit makes an attack, it's considered to be engaged by Wanton Destruction 1, Massacre, and 1 Slaughter for that attack. Those are all basically your version of the Rights of War, for not Rights of War, for the Space Marines, the doctrines, combat doctrines. Mutating Aura for Tzeentch, Feculent Beseechment for Nurgle, and Blissful Devotion for Slaanesh. And it goes into the next command phase, so it's going to go across 2 turns, right? So that's why it's 2 CPs. Fire Frenzy for Hellbrute. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase when a Traitorous Astartes Hellbrute model from your army is about to make an attack. Straight after an enemy unit finishes your opponent's shooting phase, when opponents finish making an attack. Select one Astartes Hellbrute model from your army that was hit by 1 or more of the enemy's attacks that phase, and which is not within engagement range of any enemy units. That Hellbrute model can shoot as if it was a shooting phase, but when it does so, it can only target either the closest enemy unit or an enemy unit containing any models that targeted it. So for 1 CP, your Hellbrutes can shoot back. The Great Sorcerer for 1 CP, that unit can attempt to manifest 1 additional psychic power that phase, and that unit can attempt to perform 1 psychic action and attempt to manifest 1 psychic power this phase for 1 CP. So that's really handy because there's a bunch of stratagems in the Nephilim pack that revolve around doing psychic actions, and it means that you can do it and still do another power for 1. And when you're getting CPs in your opponent's phase now too, maintaining that's not a terrible idea, because you're going to get 1 in this new pack. You're getting a CP in your opponent's command phase and your command phase. All right, Aspiring Lord for 1 CP. Use a stratagem before the battle when you're mustering your army. If your Warlord has the Traitorous Astartes keyword, select 1 Traitorous Astartes character that doesn't have a Warlord trait and give them 1. You can do this up twice. Gift to Chaos. Use a stratagem before the battle when you're mustering your army. If your Warlord has the Traitorous Astartes keyword, select 1 Traitorous Astartes character model that doesn't have a relic and give it a relic. You can do this up twice. Or 3 times you're playing a giant game no one plays Onslaught. And then Trophies of the Long War. Use stratagem before the battle when you're mustering your army. If your Warlord has the Traitorous Astartes keyword, select 1 Traitorous Astartes model from your army, excluding character models that has the Aspiring Champion or Champion keyword, and you can give them any of the following: Hypergrowth Bolts, Maelstrom's Bite, Ashen Axe, Armor Diabolus, Viper Spite, Icon of the Hydra Cult, Distortion, Armor of Abhorrence, Talons of the Night Terror, Claws of the Stygian Count, Spite Spitter, Axe of the Forge Master, Loyalty's Reward, Trophies of Slaughter, Black Mace, Sport Malice, Blade of the Relentless, Black Ring of Damnation. They have to be unique. The reason that list is so long is there's 1,000 million relics in here for each of the legions. All right, and this is why, like I said, doing each legion by themselves would be would be insane, because there's this many stratagems just for everybody. Like the amount of stuff to remember is going to be insane. So 1 or 2 CPs for Contempt Over Caution. This is a strategic ploy. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase and select a Legion core unit from your army. It's not in engagement range of any enemy units. Then select 1 enemy unit. Until the end of the phase, models in that Legion unit can target that enemy unit, even if that enemy unit's within engagement range of other friendly units, provided that the friendly units are all Legion units. So you can shoot into combat. Each time model that Legion makes an attack against an enemy unit, you cannot reroll the hit roll, and on an unmodified roll of 1, the attack scores a hits against a friendly unit that's engagement range instead. If all Legion units within engagement range of the enemy units were cultists, it costs 1, otherwise it costs 2. So you can shoot in with other Astartes on a 2 if it's cultists. You don't care. You just pay 1 CP. I love that rule. I love the Contempt of Human Life rule. Unending Destruction for 2 CPs. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase. Select 1 Traitorous Astartes infantry unit from your army, excluding cultists that's performing an action. They can shoot this turn without the action failing for 2. It's expensive, but I mean worth it. Relentless Devastation for 1 CP. Use a stratagem in your movement phase when a Astartes infantry unit, excluding cultists from your army, makes a normal move or advances. Until the end of the turn, you count as moving, not having moved and being stationary. Ritual Offerings for 1. Use a stratagem when an enemy unit's destroyed by a Traitor Astartes cultist unit. Until the end of the battle, they automatically pass morale tests, And each time a model in that cultist unit makes a melee attack, add 1 to its hit roll. So they basically sacrifice a bunch of people they kill, and they get to go crazy fighty. Scorn of Sorcery for 1 CP. Use a stratagem in your opponent's psychic phase after a psychic test is passed for an enemy psyker unit, and any Deny the Witch tests are taken. If that enemy psychic unit is within 24 of any Traitorous Astartes Khorne units from your army, roll a d6, and on a 4+, it's just denied. Just the Khorne guys are just like, nope, you didn't, and they just turn it off with their I don't know, abhorrence of magic, or their colors of Khorne. A Shroud of Flies is 3 CPs or 2 CPs. Use stratagem at the start of your opponent's shooting phase. Select 1 Traitorous Astartes Nurgle unit from your army. Until the end of that phase, each time an enemy model shoots, if that Nurgle unit is not the closest eligible target, or within 12 of that model, then until the shooting attack is resolved, that model cannot target that Nurgle unit. If that Nurgle unit has the monster, vehicle, terminator, or biker keyword, it costs 3, otherwise it costs 2. So basically, if you're not the closest target and you're a Nurgle unit, you can just disappear and not be targeted unless you're closest. Or they get within 12. Terrifying Phenomenon, because weird stuff happens around them. Use a stratagem at the start of the morale phase. Select 1 enemy unit within 12 of a Traitorous Astartes Chaos Undivided unit. Until the end of the phase, your opponent cannot select that unit for the Insane Bravery stratagem, and cannot use any rule that would allow them to reroll a morale test. And if that morale test is, if it fails a morale test, any action it's performing automatically fails. You just freak everybody out and they can't heroic bravery. A Tide of Traitors for 1 CP. Use a stratagem in your command phase. Select 1 cultist mob unit from your army that is within 6 inches of a battlefield edge or within 6 of the deployment edge. Up to D3+3 destroyed models can be added back to the unit because they just come in from the side, which I love. These return models cannot be set up in engagement range of the enemy unless the enemy is already within engagement range of a cultist mob. Excessive Cruelty for 2 CPs. Use a stratagem. The names of these are great. Use a stratagem when an enemy that's within engagement range of a Traitorous Astartes Slaanesh unit from your army falls back. After that enemy unit's finished that move, select 1 Traitorous Astartes Slaanesh unit from your army that is within engagement range when it was used. That Slaanesh unit can either consolidate up to 3, or if no longer within engagement range of any units, it can shoot as if it was the shooting phase. If the selected Slaanesh unit shoots, it can only target the enemy unit that fell back. So when someone runs away from you, if you're totally unengaged, you can shoot them as they run away, which is cool. That's why it costs 2. And then Vicious Descent. Use a stratagem in the charge phase when a Traitorous Astartes jump pack unit from your army finishes a charge move. Select 1 enemy unit within engagement range of that jump pack unit, then roll a d6 for each model in that jump pack unit that's within engagement range of that enemy unit. For each result that exceeds the unit's toughness, or equals it, they take a mortal wound. So, yeah, 5 jump pack guys go in, and you're charging Guardsmen, 3+, you do a mortal wound, you know what I mean? Or even any toughness 3, Eldar. And in the charge phase, that's a huge thing against certain armies that are low toughness, but like good at fighting or go first. You just slam into them and crush them. 2 CPs for Warpborn Foresight. Use a stratagem at the end of your reinforcement step of the opponent's movement phase. Select 1 Traitorous Astartes Tzeentch unit from your army that's not within engagement range of any enemy units, and select 1 enemy unit within 12 of that unit was set up as reinforcements. The Tzeentch unit can shoot them as if it was a shooting phase. If someone deep strikes near you, then for 2 CPs you can just shoot them. Winds of the Warp for 1 CP. Use a stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase when a Traitorous Astartes Biker or jump pack unit from your army that advanced in your previous movement phase or was set up in the battlefield during the reinforcement step of your previous movement phase is selected as a target of a ranged attack until the end of the phase. Each time an attack is made against that unit, subtract 1 from the attack's hit roll. And then Demon Shells. This is a warrior one. Cost 1 using the shooting phase when a Traitorous Astartes unit from your army is selected to shoot until the end of the phase. Add 6 to the range of all bolt weapons. Each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack with a bolt weapon, improve its AP by 1. So you can add 6, so you have 30-inch range, so you're rapid firing at 15 now, and you're +1 AP. So for 1 CP, you basically turn your crappy old Astartes bolt guns into bolt rifles from the Primaris. So it's like on-the-fly bolt rifles. Infernal Engine for 2 CPs or 1 CP. Use stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase when a Demon Engine model in your army is selected as target of an attack. Until the end of the phase, each time an attack is allocated to that model, you're -1 damage. If that model has a Titanic keyword, it costs 2, otherwise it costs 1. Sky Shrike Missiles. Use stratagem in your shooting phase when a Traitorous Astartes infantry model from your army targets an aircraft unit with a missile launcher. That model can only make 1 attack, but if it hits, you get to add 1, and you add 1 to the hit roll. So if it hits, you take 2 to 3 mortal wounds, the attack sequence ends. Smokescreen for 1. Smokescreen unit from your army is selected as a target of an attack until the end of the phase. Everyone's -1 to hit for 1 CP. Okay, Mark's Chaos. So, If your army is battle forged and you have any Chaos Space Marine attachments, then when you muster your army, with the exception of cultist units, you can upgrade any Chaos Undivided or Chaos Undivided characters from your army to have a mark of Chaos. Now they basically come undivided now, so there's no like giving you the mark undivided. The mark's not like a keyword. You upgrade the undivided mark to one of these following marks. In addition, you must upgrade every Demon Prince model in your army to have a mark of Chaos. No choice. Which is interesting. You can't have a undivided Demon Prince, which I think is weird. You must upgrade every Demon Prince model for your army to have a mark of Chaos. So weird. Okay, so each time you upgrade a unit, its power rating is increased by the amount shown in the Marks of Chaos table on the right. If you're playing a match play game or a game that uses a point limit, then the points value of that unit is increased by the amount shown in the same table. Make a note of your army roster. So it's paid once, though, for the whole unit. Each time you upgrade a unit, it loses the Chaos Undivided faction keyword and gains the Mark of Chaos keyword. Such unit also gains a new faction keyword, as shown in the keyword column on the table on the right, and 2 additional abilities, as shown in the relevant box below. If a priest or psyker has a mark of Chaos, it will know 1 additional prayer psych power based on what the mark that they have is. A psyker cannot be upgraded to have the mark of Khorne, obviously. Your army or Crusade force can include the same mark of Chaos upgrade more than once, with the exception of Khorne Berserkers, Runic Marines, and Plague Marines, and Emperor's Children, which must have the mark of Slaanesh, which must all have a mark of Chaos. A Crusade force cannot start with any units that are upgraded to have a mark of Chaos. And to include such a unit, you must use Chosen of the Pantheon. So basically, if you're playing a narrative game, then you have to earn your mark of Chaos as opposed to starting with it. Emperor's Children, when you add an Emperor's Children character or Emperor's Children core unit to your army in the Crusade force, you must give them the mark of Slaanesh. So no mixing in different marks for Emperor's Children army. So it's basically just pinning that legion down. So all the marks are the same, 15 points each for a marked unit and 1 power. All right, the mark of Khorne. Each time a model in this unit makes a melee attack, if they performed a charge move, was charged, or performed a heroic intervention, add 1 of the strength characteristic of that attack. So +1 strength to the charge. And if they have the icon keyword, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, improve the AP of that attack by 1. Mark of Tzeentch, once per turn, the first time a saving throw is failed by this unit, the damage characteristic of the attack goes to 0, because all is dust. And if the unit has the icon keyword, each time a model in the unit makes a ranged attack, its AP goes up by 1. Mark of Nurgle. Each time an attack is made against this unit, the strength characteristic of the attack either equals or is at least double the toughness characteristic of the unit. Subtract 1 from its wound roll. So basically you're -1 to wound if it's equal or double, or at least double the toughness characteristic of this unit. So not if it's worse, basically. So basically if it's worse, you don't do -1 to wound, but if it's equal to or better, equal to or double, then it equals or is at least double the toughest characteristic of that unit. Subtract 1 attack from that attack's wound roll. Equals or is at least double. So basically, it's a weird phrasing. So not better than, just if it's equal, you're -1 to wound, but if it's double, you're -1 to wound. So you're kind of 1 step lower on wounding. But if you're better, you're still wounding on a 3. Weird. While this unit has the icon keyword, each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack, an unmodified hit roll of 6 automatically wins the target. And then Mark of Slaanesh. If this unit starts the fight phase within engagement range, it fights first. And if this unit has the icon keyword, each time a model in this unit makes a melee attack, add 1 to its hit roll. So you're +1 to hit and fight first in melee. And yeah, you get stinky bullets and -1 to wound sort of all the time. Except for when you're already -1 to wound, or you're already wounding on 5, so Mark of Nurgle. And then your relics. So this is your relics available to all of the, basically, dudes. You got demon weapons, which are my first and favorite. When your army is given a relic of chaos, replace all instances of the Legion keyword with that relic's rules, if any, with the Legion name of the Legion your model is drawn from. And several relics in this section are known as demon weapons and have the following abilities. Each time the bearer is selected to fight, roll 2d6. If the result is equal to or less than the leadership, you can fight as normal. Otherwise, take d3 mortal wounds and then fight normally. And then until that fight's resolved, the bearer cannot make any attacks with that demon weapon. So basically, sometimes the demons inside the weapons don't listen to you, and you have to keep them in check. So let's get into them. Uloka the Black. Chaos Undivided model only. Select 1 melee weapon, excluding relics that you're equipped with. The weapon is now a relic for all purposes that the demon weapon ability. Each time an attack is made with a demon weapon, if the attack successfully wounds the target suffers 1 mortal wound in addition to normal damage. So any successful wounds do a mortal wound on top of normal damage. So like one melee weapon becomes that. So you could just put Uloka the Black in your, I don't know, let's say Lightning Claws that rolled a wound. And then do mortal wounds as soon as you make a wound roll. Zaal the Wrathful, select a melee weapon. It's Khorne models only. The weapon is now a relic. Each time an bearer makes an attack with the weapon, add D3 to the damage characteristic of the attack. So now I've got 1 plus D3 damage. I don't know, Lightning Claws, Chain Fit, like whatever you want. Even just a Power Sword. Yeah, with like -3 AP would be amazing. Because you're +1 strength in the charge because you mark a Khorne. Golax the Decayed, it becomes a relic and a demon weapon. Each time an attack is made with this demon weapon, if a hit scored, the attack automatically wounds the target, and the enemy cannot use any rules to ignore the wounds they lose. So no wound strikes against it, and it auto wounds when it hits. For Tzeentch, Koak the Boundless, it's a relic and a demon weapon. Each time an attack is made with this demon weapon, it's allocated to an enemy. The invulnerable saving throws cannot be made against that attack, and it's a melee weapon. So I don't know, the three of them. I mean, Zaal's really cool. I like the Mortal Wound one. Uloka the Black for Chaos Undivided. It's really good. It would be really good on Lightning Claws because I have to use Wound now. So you want something that lets you reroll wound rolls, and you're doing mortal wounds for every one that you do, for every wound that you cause, on top of whatever happens if they could fail their armor saves. Quack the Balance is pretty cool too, though, because no invuls. So you get it on something with high AP and there's no invuls against it. Also pretty cool. Tharas and Riol the Rapacious. Slaanesh model with 2 or more melee weapons. It's like 2 of them to be replaced with these. They're both relics. This still only counts as being equipped with 1 relic, however. In addition, the bearer selected to fight it can make D3 additional attacks with each of these weapons. So you get 2 D3 bonus attacks with those 2 melee weapons, no matter what they are. And you roll for each. Alright, so we're off the demon weapons, sort of. Inferno Tome now for a priest. This relic can be given to cultists. The bearer knows 1 additional prayer from Prayers of the Dark Gods. And every time you chant, if it's heard, the closest enemy within 18 inches takes D3 mortal wounds because they listen to the words of unmaking. The Gorget of Eternal Hatred. You get +1 armor and a 4+ invul. Each time the first time the bearer is destroyed, roll a D6 for each enemy unit within 3 of the bearer. On a 2 to 5, they take D3 mortal wounds. On a 6, they take 3 mortal wounds. You explode. The Black Rune of Damnation. Each time an attack is made against the bearer's unit, subtract 1 from the attack's wound roll. The bearer has the following ability, Black Rune of Damnation. It's an aura. While an enemy Psyker unit is within 18 of the bearer, each time a Psych test is taken for that unit, it suffers Perils of the Warp on a roll of any double. And then the Mantle of Traitors. Once per battle, if the bearer is selected for an epic deed stratagem, the stratagem costs 0. Each time the bearer makes a melee attack, you can reroll the hit roll. At the start of your command phase, select 1 Legion core unit from your army that's on the battlefield. Until the start of your next command phase, that unit's considered to be in range of the following aura abilities the bearer has: Lord of Chaos, Sparta Glory, and Demagogue. And then Blade of the Relentless. Model of Power Sword, Demon Blade, or a cursed weapon only. Replace it with the following profile: +1 strength, -4 AP, and 2 damage. Whenever you fight, you can make an additional attack with this weapon, and each time an attack is made on an unmodified hit roll of 6, you take 2 mortal wounds and the attack sequence ends. So a very cool mortal wound exploder. The Black Mace, model with a Power Maul, Cursed Crozius, or cursed weapon only. It replaces it with a +2 strength, -2 AP, 3 damage attack, which is pretty rad actually for like a Chaos Space Marine being strength 6, -2, 3 damage. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, excess damage it inflicts is not lost. Keep allocating damage until another model is either destroyed or takes the damage. So you do like pseudo mortal wounds with it, which is pretty great. That's actually really good at fighting basically anything. So like it does Age of Sigmar damage. It can fight 1 wound guys as well as it can fight 3 wound guys, which is very handy. The Warp's Malice. It's a pistol, a bolt pistol. It's pistol 2, strength 5, -2, 2 damage. While the bearer is engaged in wanton massacre or wanton slaughter, so that's coming later, the pseudo sort of like doctrines. This weapon's type is changed to pistol 4. Each time an attack is made in this weapon, an unmodified hit roll of 6, the target suffers 2 mortal wounds, the attack sequence ends. So slaughter is basically... Slaughter is the assault phase 1, and massacre I think is the shooting phase 1. So your pistol 4 and hits of 6 do 2 mortal wounds. The Talisman of Burning Blood is for Khorne, and this model is eligible to perform a heroic intervention within 6 and moves 6 and 5. However, can only move closer to the close enemy model or within engagement range of an enemy character. So you have to move as fast as you can. If you do so, you move to 6. All the rules for intervention still apply. You get +1 attack, and each time the bearer makes a melee attack that destroys an enemy unit, and until the end of the battle, you add one of their attack characteristic. So you get +1 attack, because you get crazier and crazier. Tzeentch Psyker is only for the Eye of Tzeentch. Each time a psych test is made for the bearer, you get +1 of the result. Each time a psych test is made by the bearer on an unmodified result of 9+, it cannot be denied for the power or action. The Orb of Unlife, Nurgle only. It's a grenade, range 9 inches, grenade 1. The bearer can only shoot with this weapon once per battle. It's the unholy hand grenade, basically. And hit rolls made with this weapon never generate additional hits, like if you have wanton destruction. When an attack is made with this weapon, if a hit's scored, the target's unit suffers D3 mortal wounds, and the attack sequence ends. If the target unit contains 11 or more models, or if the bearer is engaged in wanton destruction on 145, the target unit suffers D3 plus 3 mortal wounds, and the attack sequence ends. Until the end of the battle, subtract 1 from the toughness of models in the target unit. So whether it hits or not, you're -1 toughness forever. So think about that for a second. You could be, and it works on anyone, not just infantry. So you could -1 toughness a knight, right? Walk up to a Primarch or a knight and be like, your toughness is 7. Yeah, that's a huge change all of a sudden. And yeah, and if you're in the right, like wanton destruction or whatever, you take D3 plus 3 mortal wounds. So yeah. So it's D3 mortal wounds if it's a single model, like a Titan or something like that, or a Knight. But if it's 11 or more models, it gets more, as long as you're in the right phase. Intoxicating Elixir for a Slaanesh model. Once per battle at the start of the fight phase, the bearer can use this relic. You get D3 extra attacks, and the bearer cannot lose more than 3 wounds in any phase. Any wounds that would be lost after that point are not lost. And then finally, the Liber Hereticus. I just finished reviewing that 2 weeks ago. In your psychic phase, the bearer can attempt to manifest additional psychic power, and each time the bearer successfully manifests a psychic power, adds 6 to the range of the power's effects. If that psychic power specifies multiple ranges, this rule only affects the first range specified by that psychic power. Woof! All right, we're into it. Psychic powers and prayers, which we already kind of started looking at, and then we're into the actual Warlord traits, and then the chapter-approved rules. We've almost made it to data sheets, and this is just the core stuff. My God. All right, here we go. So, the Dark Hereticus Discipline. You have Skynes of Fate. It's a blessing for your Tzeentch Psykers. Warp Charge 7. If you manifest, select a friendly Tzeentch unit within 18 of the Psyker. Until the start of your next psychic phase, they get a 4+ invul, so you can hand it a 4+ invul. The Putrid Miasma. Cast on 6, pick a friendly Legion Nurgle unit within 18. Until the start of your next psychic phase, each time attacks made against that unit, you're -1 to hit, so you can bless someone with -1 to hit. And then Delightful Agonies, another blessing. Warp Charge 6, pick a Legion Slaanesh unit from your army within 18, and you get a 5+ wound shrug. But not against mortal wounds. Each time a model in that unit would lose a wound. Oh no, it's not suffers a wound or mortal wound. Actually, it doesn't matter. It's against everything. Never mind. Forget what I said. Usually it says would suffer a wound or mortal wound. In this case, it just says would lose a wound, which would apply to mortal wounds too. Infernal Gaze, we're into the non-Legion ones, or non-marked ones. Witchfire, Infernal Gaze has a warp charge of 5. Select an enemy unit within 18, invisible to the Psyker, and roll 3d6. For each 4+, they take a mortal wound. If the result of the psychic test was 10+, roll 6d6 instead. So it's kind of like a different smite, with a possibility of leveling it up. Prescience, which is funny because it's an old librarian one. It's a blessing, cast on 7. If you manifest it, select a Legion unit within 18 of the Psyker. Until the start of your next psychic phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, add 1 to the attack's hit roll. So +1 to hit blessing. Diabolic Strength, add 2 to the strengths of attacks characteristic of that model. If you pick a Legion Infantry, Legion Chaos Spawn model within 12, and it casts on 6. Death Hex, Malediction on an 8. Select an enemy unit within 12 of the Psyker. Until your next psychic phase, they can't make invulnerable saves. So turning off an invulnerable save, it's so funny because the Space Marine 1 version of that is like a 6-inch range. For the Chaos Space Marines, they can just pick someone within 12. The Gift of Chaos, Witchfire, and it is cast on 7. If you manifest the close enemy unit within 18 invisible, the Psyker takes D3 mortal wounds, and you must roll 1d6 for each other enemy unit within 6 of that unit. And on a 4+, they take 1 mortal wound. And then Warp Time, it's a blessing. Cast on 6, pick an Legion Infantry or Legion Chaos Spawn within 6. Make a normal move. If that unit advanced in the movement phase, it still counts as having advanced this turn. Until the end of that turn, the unit's not eligible to declare a charge. So basically, if you really need to get somewhere, you can push them with warp time, but you can't charge afterwards. All right, the Malefic discipline, and this one is when a psychic from your army manifests psychic power from this discipline, replace all instances of Legion on the psychic power with any of the named Legion that you have. So this one is warp marked malediction. Warp marked has a warp charge of 7. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 18 of the Psyker. Until the end of your next Psychic phase, Legion Demon Cannon, Legion Demon Engine models from your attacks against the make an attack to target that unit. Add one of the attacks win roll. This is like the Dark Mechanicus stuff. Pact of Flesh, Blessing on a 5. Pick a Legion Core, Legion Demon Kin, or Legion character within 18. They get D3 wounds back. If you select a core Demon Kin unit that's not at starting strength, one destroyed model is brought back with its full wounds remaining. Woof. So you both heal and bring a model back if it's core Demon Kin. That's amazing. You have a respawn basically. Cursed Earth, Blessing Aura. Cursed Earth has a warp charge of 7. If manifested until the start of your next Psychic phase, while a friendly Legion Demon Kin or Demon Engine is within 6 of the Psyker, has a 4+ invul. Each time an enemy unit finishes a charge within the engagement range of that unit, on a 2 to 4 they take a mortal wound, on a 5 they take D3 mortal wounds. So you Cursed Earth them. Giving them a 4+ invul is rad. But also bringing guys back is rad. I love all the stuff that the Master of whatever, Master of Demons guys can do now. Possession, Witchfire, cast on 6. If manifested, select an enemy unit within 9, invisible. On a D6 roll, roll 1d6, adding 1 to the result. If the test is unmodified 10+. If the result is greater than the unit's toughness characteristic, one model on that unit selected by your opponent is destroyed. Then, if that unit has not been destroyed, they take D3 mortal wounds. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, adding 1 if the psychic power is more than that. If you just roll higher than the target unit's toughness, then you just auto-gib somebody. So like a Terminator with 3 wounds, big fat ogre or whatever, times 5, and if you get a 10+, you get +1 to the roll. You just go poof and like pop their brain. Infernal Power, Blessing, warp charge of 6. If manifested, select a Legion Demon Kin or Legion Demon Engine within 18 of the Psyker. Until the start of your next Psychic phase, each time a melee attack is made by a Demon Kin or Demon Engine model in that unit, an unmodified hit roll of 6 auto wounds. In such cases, for the purpose of the rolls that are triggered by a particular wound roll, it's always considered to have rolled a 6. And then Mutated Invigoration, warp charge 6. If manifested, select a friendly Legion unit within 18 of the Psyker. Until the end of your next Psychic phase, add 1 of the strength or toughness characteristic of a model in that unit. And if you roll a 10+, and you selected a Demon Kin or Demon Engine, add 1 to both. So, and you still get one of these 3 if you have a mark and you're using Malefic, right? So your Master of Possession and Dark, I don't know, the Metal Pony Rider guy also can take the specialty ones on top of what's on this trait. All right, there are tons of prayers. Like I said, there was 4 for the the different marks, and then you get 6 more. So Dark Zealotry is an aura, and if it's heard while a friendly Legion Core, Cultist, or characters within 6 of the Priest, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, reroll the hit roll. So it's the basic Chaplain ability that even the Space Marines have. Wrathful Entreaty, this one's for Khorne. Current Legion Core or Legion Khorne character within 6. Each time a model makes an attack, it's considered to be in all of the different things. So it's 1 Destruction, 1 Massacre, and 1 Slaughter. And I should actually just go through those. You know what I'm actually talking about at this point. So, Let the Galaxy Burn. You gain the following rules. Each time a unit, if every unit in your army has the Traitor Astartes keyword, and not the Agent of Chaos Warden, every Legion unit from your army, excluding Abaddon Despoiler, is from the same Legion. They gain the following ability. Each time a model in this unit shoots with a flame weapon, when determining how many attacks is made, add 2. So, Flamer's D6 + 2. And the unit gains a bonus depending on which wanton act it engages in. So in the first battle round, you're Destruction. Second battle round, it's Massacre. Third battle round, it's either Massacre or Slaughter. And it's variations, kind of the ones from the Space Marine Codex. So Destruction is, each time a model unit makes a heavy rapid-fire grenade weapon attack, an unmodified hit roll of 6 scores an additional hit, so exploding 6s. Massacre is, each time a model in this unit makes a rapid-fire assault or pistol weapon attack, an unmodified hit roll of 6 scores an additional hit. And then Slaughter Each time an attack is made with an assault pistol or melee weapon, and on a modified hit roll of 6 scores additional hits. So it's not the bonus AP that the Space Marines get, it's exploding hits. That's pretty cool. So you're triggering on 6 extra hits. And it's based on phase. So turn 1 is destruction, turn 2 it's massacre. So it's heavy weapons and rapid fire weapons and stuff, and then it goes on and on. And then mutating invigoration. So this is for your Tzeentch Corps or Tzeentch characters within 3 of the priest. Roll a d6 each time they would lose a wound. On a 6+ it's not lost. So 6+ wound shrug. And then feculent beseechment. It's for Nurgle Corps and Nurgle characters within 6 of the priest. Get +1 toughness. And blissful devotion. If his prayer is heard, select one friendly legion/or core unit or character within 6 of the priest, and they can charge even if they advance. Then we're on to the core, like the generic ones basically. So you can have a benediction of darkness. This prayer is heard, and this dark zealotry you always have, and then you pick another one. And if you're marked, then you get one of these, and then you pick another one usually. If this prayer is heard, then while a friendly Legion Core, Legion Character, Legion Cultist unit is wholly within 6 of the priest, each time a ranged attack is made against that unit, they're in light cover. That's cool. So +1 save usually. Litany of Despair. If this prayer is heard, select one enemy unit within 12 of the priest and roll 3d6. If the result is greater than that unit's leadership characteristics, select one of the following. The unit cannot perform actions, and if they are, then it fails. The unit cannot fire Overwatch or set to defend, and it is not eligible to fight until after all eligible units from your army have done so. So Despair could be really powerful. It's short range, and it's a 3d6 versus leadership. So that's actually pretty powerful in this edition because leadership's not that high on a lot of units. Unless you are Custodes, in which case don't even bother because the average dice roll on 3d6 could be an 11. It's almost going to auto pass leadership on everybody else, but probably not on Custodes. And then the Omen of Potency, add 3 to the attack characteristics of attacks of the priest and improve the AP of its melee weapons, excluding relics, by 2. So you just jazz yourself up. The Warp Sight Plea, if it's heard, Legion Core, Legion Cultist, and Legion characters within 6. Each time that unit makes a ranged attack, reroll hit rolls a 1, and the target does not get light cover. So sort of like a aura for reroll 1s and no cover. That one's actually pretty powerful. The Soul Terror Portent, if this prayer is heard, select a Legion Core, Legion Cultist, or Legion character within 6. Each time model that unit makes a melee attack, add 1 to its wound roll. And Illusory Supplication, an unmodified hit roll of 1 to 3 for that attack fails, irrespective of any abilities or weapon things that you may have, and the attack's hit cannot be re-rolled. That's an interesting one. No, you don't make a hit roll for flame weapons. I was going to wonder how to interact with flame weapons. So priests are pretty powerful. I like that it's all auras and buffs too, because you don't overlap auras the same way Space Marines do, but you can bring them through the Dark Gods and stuff with the priests, and you can't really stop them because there's nothing that nullifies prayers. All right, Warlord traits. So first up, we've got the Flames of Spite, and that is each time a Warlord makes a melee attack, reroll the wound roll. Each time a Warlord makes an attack, an unmodified wound roll of 6 does a mortal wound on top of roll damage. That's a really, really good Warlord trait. So now think about combining that Warlord trait, for instance, with the Demon Weapon, that now you don't need to take Lightning Claws. So you take Flames of Spite with the Demon Weapon that does a mortal wound every time you roll a 6, or if you successfully wound. And then you buy something even crazier on top of that, gives them extra attacks, and now you're rerolling wound rolls. As long as you wound successfully, you do a mortal wound on top of whatever armor saves they fail, and you jack them up with a million attacks and just go in and explode mortal wounds. So let's just say I have, that thing. I could just give him a chainsword or 2 chainswords, because chainswords I'm pretty sure still make additional attacks. And then my Chaos Lord with the demonically possessed chainswords has how many attacks? Chaos Lord, 6 attacks base. Now he's got 8 attacks. They reroll their failed roll to wound, and everything just explodes you. Unfortunately, I can't actually, oh no, you can replace your hammer with a melee weapon with the melee weapons list. Oh, you can still do it, but they've used Obsidious Malix as the core Chaos Lord now. I thought for a second you couldn't change his weapons, and I was gonna be like, oh man, the thing I just said is completely wrong, but you can still change his weapons. Unholy Fortitude, 5+ wound shrug. Hatred Incarnate, each time a Warlord fights, it can make a charge move. Sorry, if it made a charge move or heroic intervention, you get +1 strength and attack. And you can always just reroll the hit rolls. Man, you have such good Warlord traits. Lord of Terror, each time a morale test is taken for that unit, your opponent must roll an additional d6 and discard the lowest result. And if you fail a morale test until the end of the phase, it's considered to be below half strength for the purposes of the combat attrition test. So this is all within 6 of the Warlord. Eternal Vendetta at the start of the first battle round. Before the first turn begins, select one enemy unit until the end of the battle, while a friendly Legion Corps or Legion character unit's within 6 of this Warlord. Each time a model in that Legion unit makes an attack against the enemy unit, you can roll the wound roll. You just hate somebody, and you're the general, he's just screaming. And then Gaze the Gods, 4+ invul. Each time a Warlord makes an attack, it's considered to be engaged in all of the things. So you get exploding 6s no matter what phase you're in. And then named character and Warlord traits. If you are Abaddon, you have Eternal Vendetta, Paragon of Hatred, and Merciless Overseer, because you have 3 Warlord traits. So you get basically Eternal Vendetta, which is you call somebody out that you hate. Paragon of Hatred, which is one of you basically get 2 of the Black Legion ones. Where's the Paragon of Hatred? It's page 79. Yeah, Black Legion ones. Paragon of Hatred is reroll charge rolls, and if you fight with engagement, you get range of you get +1 to your attack characteristic. If you're engaged with an Imperium keyword, you get plus D3 instead. And then the other one is Merciless Overseer, and that's on your command phase, select one friendly Black Legion unit within 6 of the Warlord until the next command phase. Each time a model in that unit makes an attack, if your army is engaged in wanton destruction or slaughter, you're engaged in massacre instead. Harkon Worldclaimer gets Lord of Terror. Huron Blackheart gets Reaver Lords. Surgical Precision for Fabius Bile. Lucius the Eternal gets Faultless Duelist. And Cypher gets the Unholy Fortitude. And Unholy Fortitude is the one up here where you get a 5+ wound shrug. All right, so let's do the Dare to Compare. Chapter approved. Your Traitorous Astartes ones, you get Rise to Glory for No Mercy, No Respite. The Long War. Rise to Glory is Purge the Enemy. In a different order here. So first you have Long War. It looks identical. Score 1 VP for each enemy unit destroyed by Traitorous Astartes units from your army, and then engage in range of objective marker. Score 2 if you control any objective markers that were controlled by your opponent at the start of the turn. And you can't score them more than 3 VPs from this per turn. So yeah, so you're good for Long War. It's the same. Purge the Enemy, Rise to Glory. If you select this objective at the end of each battle round, score 2 VPs for each character, monster, and vehicle destroyed by attack made by a Traitorous Astartes character. Yeah, scoring is the same. If it's 10 to 19, you score 1, or 2 victory points if for destroying a model that has the Titanic keyword or was the enemy Warlord, and you can't get more than 5. In addition, each time a character, monster, or vehicle model is destroyed by a melee attack made by a Traitorous Astartes character from your army, roll 2d6. If the result's less than the wounds characteristic of the destroyed model, you gain a command point until the end of the phase. And then for the Dark Gods, the endgame one is also the same. For the Dark Gods action, one Traitorous Astartes infantry or biker from your army can start and perform this action at the end of your movement phase if it's wholly within a table quarter that's not been dedicated to Dark Gods. This is one where you zip around and you try and mark all the objectives. If a table quarter has been dedicated to the Chaos God by your army, then while a Traitorous Astartes unit from your army is wholly within that table quarter, add 2 to the leadership characteristic of that unit, unless the Chaos God is not their patron. At the end of the battle, score 2 victory points for the Dark Gods tally is 1, score 5 if it's 2, score 9 if it's 3, score 14 if it's 4. But you can't go to 15 with that one. So basically you're dedicating all of the table quarters each turn if you can. And then Crusade rules. So basically your warband has to decide what they're trying to do. If it's personal glory to venerate the gods, or if your war fleet's trying to do something cool. And then you have all of these like things you're trying to accomplish to do so. So different agendas. And then those will unlock your different battle traits for your cultists, demon engines, core and demonkin units, your warpsmith and lord discordant. And you can get boons and stuff as well for your characters, like unholy speed plus your movement. Whipcord sinews if you're Slaanesh. So that the murderous perfection and excessive cruelty can only cost 0 CPs to do. And then the Crusade Relics are, of course, totally OP. And then each of the legions also has their own Crusade rules. Oh my god, there's so much in this book. And there's a cool example of a Crusade army. It's interesting the old Chaos, Chaos Demon Prince is still in here. I would have expected to see, although this is, I guess, this is Cal McPherson's army, so it's going to have older models in it. But those new Possessed are awesome. All right, data sheets. We're there. So we've already gone through Let the Galaxy Burn. You can see it's basically a version of the Doctrines, but it's exploding 6s instead of an AP bonus. And the Legion keyword. So all traders and stories get a Legion keyword. You have to pick one. You must nominate what Legion they're from or make your own, but then you don't get the characters. And then the World Leaders, Thousand Sons, Death Guard, and Emperor's Children. You can't select those legions. You cannot select World Leaders, Thousand Sons, or Death Guard when nominating what legion you're from. Khorne's ancient and early units cannot be from the Emperor's Children Legion. If a unit's from the Emperor's Children Legion, it must be upgraded to have the Mark of Slaanesh. And note that Lucius the Eternal and Noise Marines already have the Mark of Slaanesh. You have to do it. And then War Gear and Weapons. Abilities, Demon Engines all have a 5+ invul, and in your command phase get a lost wound back. And then Malicious Volleys, you still get that. Instead of following the normal rules for rapid fire weapons, models in this unit shooting rapid fire bolt weapons make double the number of attacks in any of the following apply. If you're within half range of the weapon, the shooting model is infantry and the unit remains stationary in your pre movement phase, or the shooting model is a Terminator or Biker model. They just always do it. And then rapid fire bolt weapons are defined on page 176. And then we're into Warp Strike. During deployment, you can set this unit up on the Blasphemous Reserves instead of setting up in the battlefield. If you do so, set up the reinforcement step. You can put it anywhere in the battlefield, not within 9. And certain units have Warp Strike as a keyword, are things like some of your like shiftier demon-y units. So, what are you looking at? Like your Warp Talons, they have Warp Strike. Your Raptors have Warp Strike. And it's kind of like your teleportation ability. Your Obliterators all have Warp Strike. All your Terminators have Warp Strike. I'm just seeing if any of the other like demon engines have it. I don't think they do on first pass. No, it's looking like it's all of the Terminators have Warp Strike. I think your Terminator Hero has Warp Strike. Warpsmith does not. Lord Discordant does not. He's just a Spirit Thief. And we're into the stuff. All right, well, let's see how everybody made up. We're just gonna do a little dare to compare here. I'm gonna throw open my 40K app and have a look at some reference sheets here. So we're looking at Codex, Chaos Space Marines, data sheets. Abadabadoobadan. He was 220 points before. Looks like his core stats have gone up, strength up to 6. He's got 9 wounds instead of 8. He's even tougher in 8 attacks. So I don't know how up to date this app is, but that's a lot better. Leadership 11. He's got Custodes leadership and a 2+ save. So he got jacked up. Talon of Horus. It's Assault 4 instead of Rapid Fire 2 now. 24-inch range. 5 -1, 2 damage. The gun is real good. Draknian, his badass demon weapon, is not in this app. What am I looking at here? No, there it is. It was +1 -3, 3 damage before. Now it's +3 -4, 3 damage. And if you unmodified wound roll of 6, take D3 normal wounds in addition. So it's insanely scary. And then Talon of Horus is user strength -4, so it's strength 6 -4. And you make 2 attacks instead of 1 with each one. But no rerolling to wound, which is interesting. And 1 damage. He's got Let the Galaxy Burn and Warp Strike, so you can teleport. He's got the Mark of Chaos Ascendant. Each time a model makes a melee attack, if it made a move, charge, or proc intervene, you get +1 strength, so your strength 7. Which means your strength 10 with Draknian. Each time an attack is made against this model, the strength characteristic of the attack is equal or at least double the toughness. Or is at least double the toughness of this model. Subtract 1 from the attack's wound roll. So again, if it's equal, you're winning on 5s. If it's double, you're winning on 3s. So you can never win them on 2s. Basically, I guess is what that means. And you're more often winning them on 5s. It's such a weirdly phrased rule. If this model starts the fight phase within engagement range, it always fights first. And then Dark Destiny, you get a 4+ invulnerable save and can't take more than 3 wounds in the same phase. War Master, you're always the Warlord in addition to any other Warlord. If more than one friendly model has this effect, then he'd be your Warlord. And if this model is your Warlord, it gains the Agent of Chaos keyword, so that it doesn't break any other rules. So basically, he can lead other marked armies, and it doesn't matter. And then he has the Despoiler Aura. Chaos Core within 6 of him get +1 to charge, and reroll hit rolls of 1. And he's the Lord of the Traitor Legions. In your command phase, select one friendly Heretic Astartes core or character within 6, and they can reroll all hit rolls. And if you're Black Legion, you can also reroll the wound rolls. So he's pretty bonkers, but he's about 300 points now. So he was 220 before, and I mean, they needed to jack him up. He's supposed to be the Chaos equivalent of Gilliman, right? So I'm pretty sure these point values are the same. Yeah, he's 300 points. I'm pretty sure these point values are the same as in the updates, but that's a lot of points. Harkon Word Claimer, he's that kind of okay looking Warp Talon model. I don't love the miniature. What's he got that's new and super exciting as far as his stats? Anything cool? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. He's gone up to 8 power. He's a extra wounds, 2 extra attacks, extra leadership. His Hell Spear is 7, so higher strength, -3 damage, which is nice, flat damage now. And each time an attack is made with this weapon, if a hit is scored, draw a straight line between the closest point in this model's base and the target of the closest model in that unit. Make a wound roll against the target unit and every other unit it passes against. And then the Herald's Talon, user strength, so the strength is the same, -3, 2 damage, and reroll the wound roll, which is Lightning Claw. And he's got Let the Galaxy Burn and Warp Strike, Lord of the Raptors. In your command phase, select one friendly Black Legion core character within 6 until the start of your next command phase. You can reroll the hit roll. If it's Raptors, also the wound roll. Lord of Chaos Aura, Black Legion core are within 6, they reroll hit rolls on 1. Head Taker, each time an enemy character unit is destroyed by an attack made by this model until the end of the battle, get +1 attack. Increase the range of this model's Herald of the Apocalypse ability by 6. So every time he kills a character, it goes up by 6. And the Herald of the Apocalypse is while an enemy model is within 6, each time that unit fails a morale test, one additional model flees. So the range could be huge at the end of the game. And he's got a Sagittal Corruption for a 4+ symbol. Huron Blackheart, who is, I think, crossed through Rubicon Primaris. He's up as 5 now. He's strength 2. Where is he? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So yeah, he's toughness 5. Core stats are basically the same. He's got extra wound now and 7 attacks instead of 5. Leadership 10. Tyrant's Claw is now shooting strength 5, which is cool. Oh, sorry, it was strength 5 before. -1 damage and auto hits. So still a flamer. Assault D6, yep. And then the Power Axe, the Exalted Power Axe, is +2, -2, 2 damage. So I got a damage boost. And the Tyrant's Claw in melee is only strength user. So it didn't get ×2 strength anymore. -2, 1 damage. It's gone back to being Lightning Claw. And each time an attack is made with this weapon, make 2 hit rolls instead of 1. So he doubles his attacks. No rerolling to wound. Interesting. He's not quite as good in melee anymore. Because he used to be strength 8. Because it was ×2, -3, D3 damage. Yeah, he's actually significantly worse in melee. That's interesting. Let the Galaxy Burn, Lord of Chaos, so reroll 1s. Tarn of Badab for Red Corsairs. They get to reroll hits for a core unit and then reroll, actually that's it. Just reroll hits. And then Sagittal Corruption for a 4+ invul and the Hamadryah. Once for battle at the start of the Psychic phase, this model can use the Hamadryah. If it does so until the end of the phase, this model gains the Psychic keyword and can manifest Smite or a Dark Heretic as Psychic power. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, he's still a cool model. I wish his Tyrant's Claw was better. I mean, I don't know. He went up in power, he went up in points, but he lost the ×2 strength for the Tyrant's Claw in melee. And he lost the D3 damage. It was a D3? Yeah, it was D3 -3. Now it's only -2, 1 damage. But his power's got slightly better. A Heretic Astartes Demon Prince. I think it's just called Demon Prince before. Yeah, there it is. Still use that same image too. He's got the same core stats, it looks like. 8 wounds, 6 attacks now, 2 extra attacks. Demonic Axe is the same. Demonic Hellforged Sword, +1, -3, 3 damage, the same. Malefic Talons, the same additional attack. He looks pretty much the same. Let the Galaxy Burn for his mark, Demonic Allegiance. When you include this model in your army, you must give it a mark. If your army is battle forged, you must. This model must also be upgraded to the Mark of Chaos associated with the faction keyword. So if it's, if you're a Slaanesh army, you have to be Slaanesh. If you selected Slaanesh Nurgle, then you can gain the Psyker keyword, and Khorne instead gets +1 strength and attack. So Khorne strength 8, toughness, strength 8 and 7 attacks. Everybody else gets to be a Psyker. And then you got Lord of Chaos, so Legion Core within 6 can reroll hit rolls of 1. You're Demonic, 4+ invul against range, and 5+ against melee. It goes down to 5. And And then you're fearsome. If you're within 6, you're -1 leadership. You're a psyker, so you can have the manifest 1 and dispel 1, or deny 1 rather. And if you have a mark, then you get whatever the mark spell is. And a dark hereticus 1. Fabius Bile, when you're cool new plastic miniature, although you were a classic Jez Goodwin sculpt back in the day. A, B, C, D, E, F. Fabius Bile is here somewhere. Is not here somewhere? Why can't I find Fabius Bile? Master of Execution, Master of... Oh, you're killing me here. You're killing me, Smalls. How am I not able to find Fabius Bile in here? Hang on. I'll just look up Fabius Bile. There he is. Oh, he's locked because I have to own a copy of Warzone Caradon Act 3. So I didn't put the code in for that one, obviously. 2+2+, strength 5, toughness 4, 6 wounds, 6 attacks, leadership 10. And then his Surgeon Acolytes are 5+5+, strength 3, toughness 4 because he's jacked them up. 1 wound and 1 attack. His Needler's strength 2, -2, 2 damage, and always wins on 2+ unless it's a vehicle or Titanic. The Chirurgeon makes 4 additional attacks with that thing, and it's strength 4, -1, 1 damage, and the Rod of Torment's user strength, so strength 5, -2, 3 damage. So he's pretty dangerous in melee. And the Needler, of course, is going to always win on 2s with 2 damage. He'll kill some Space Marines out for sure. He can let the Galaxy burn. He'll enhance warriors as an action at the end of your movement phase. Fabius Bile can start to perform this action. If he does so, select a traitorous to start his core infantry unit within 3 of him that does not have a Mark of Chaos keyword. Or an enhancement. This action is completed at the end of your shooting phase, provided the unit you selected is still within 3 inches of Fabius Bile. So basically your unmarked guys can be done. Your Mark of Chaos undivided guys can do this. If completed, select roll 1d3 and until the end of the battle you get the following. So you get +1 strength, +1 toughness, or +1 attacks. And you can only enhance them once per game. And then your Surgeon Acolytes, each time Fabius Bile completes the Enhanced Warriors action, roll 2d3 instead of 1d3 and pick the one you like. And the destruction of a Surgeon Acolyte is ignored for morale purposes. And if he's ever destroyed, this unit's Surgeon Acolytes models are also destroyed. And then the Chirurgeon, each time the Fabius Bile will lose a wound on a 5+, it's not lost. In addition, in your start of your command phase, you get D3 wounds back as it keeps fixing him. Cypher, all right, what did Cypher get? He should be so good. He should be amazing. Why isn't Cypher the best? He used to be the best. 2+2+, strength toughness 4. He's got 1 extra wound now. His movement went down to 6 instead of 7 though. He's got 6 attacks, leadership 9, 3+ save. His bolt pistol 6, strength 4, -1, 1 damage. And his plasma pistol 3, strength 8, -3, 2 damage. Nothing overheats. Mysterious protection, 4+ invul. Hit rolls of 1 to 3 always fail. And once per battle at the end of any shooting phase or fight phase, you can remove this model from the battlefield and put in the strategic reserves. And if the battle ends, he's not on the table, he's destroyed. Blazing weapons, you can shoot when you fall back or advance. Enigmatic ally, if your Battleforged army and a Chaos Space Marine detachment is in your army, includes any Chaos Sword model, Cypher can be included in this battlefield or detachment that are taking up a rule slot. And then Agent of Discord, each time your opponent uses any rule that would allow them to generate command points or have command points refunded on a 4+, your opponent does not gain those command points or have them refunded. So you get to 4+, get rid of your getting command points back. I don't know, he's cool. I just wish he, I don't know, I wish he was cool. I don't know why. I like him. Master Possession, did you change it all? He's the demonic Demon Engine character. Master LMM. He got an extra wound, 2 extra attacks. Staff Possession is not a force stave anymore, so it's +3 strength, -1 damage. Sorry, -1 AP and D3 damage. And if you fight, if 1 or more attacks are allocated against a Psyker, after the bearer has resolved all of its attacks, the Psyker automatically peril the warps. He's got a 5+ invul. While an enemy unit's within 12, when they perils, they get an extra wound, and then Sacrificial Dagger. Each time this model attempts to manifest psych power from the Malefic discipline. If it's within 3 of any Legion infantry units, excluding Demonkin and Cultists, if you select one of those units and make a sacrifice, take D3 mortal wounds, and add 2 to the psych test. So you can harm your own guys. You You can manifest 2 and deny 1, and you know, snipe in 2 Malefic discipline. We already went through the Chaos Lord. It's basically Obsidious Malex. He has a Thunderhammer and Plasma Pistol to start off with. 4+ Invul from his Sigil Corruption. And Layer to Chaos. Legion Core within 6 can reroll 1s. And you can give him all his different Chaos weapons. And then a Chaos Lord and Terminator armor. Basically the same. I think the Chaos Lord maybe got an extra wound. I think he went from 5 to 6. He went from 5 to 6. And 2 extra attacks, actually, he gained. And so that's the same with the Chaos Terminator, except he's got Terminator armor, so an extra one, too. The Sorcerer, it looks like everybody gained, all the guys who gained, like, because the basic guys gained a wound, everybody else kind of leveled up a little bit, too. The Chaos Sorcerer is not called that in here. I think it's just Sorcerer. I hate when the names change that little teeny bit. Okay, he gets 2 extra attacks and an extra wound. You've got the Sorcerer and Terminator armor would be reflected the same way. Lucius the Eternal. I can't believe that's still an old model in that picture. He got an extra wound, an extra strength. And it looks like Leadership 10. And his Doom Siren's Assault D6, 5 minus 3/1 damage. Sonic Weapon, each time attack made this weapon targets it within half, it's +1 damage. And his Dual Sword is minus 3/2 damage. He has Marcus Slaanesh, he fights first, and Duelist Pride, each time a small is selected to fight. If there's any models with the unmodified weapon skill characteristic of 3+ or better in engagement range, I'd put 3 to its attacks. He's not interested in fighting little guys. He has 8 attacks. Each time he allocates a model, he's +1 damage. So he's damaged 3 against anyone with a 3+ weapon skill. And then Armor Shrinking Souls, 4+ Invul. If this model is destroyed by an attack made by an enemy model, your opponent must roll 2d6. If the result is less than their leadership, the enemy model suffers D3 mortal wounds. Otherwise, the enemy unit suffers D6 mortal wounds. In either case, if you're playing a Crusade game, that model's unit must be taken out of action. And the Lash of Torment, at the start of the fight phase, you can select one enemy unit within 3 inches. That unit's not eligible to fight until after everybody else has done so, and then he's a Lord of Chaos for reroll 1s. Lord Discordant. I love this miniature, the Lord Discordant. I really think he is one of the nicest miniatures for Chaos that's been made in a while. He is 12-inch move. He doesn't degrade anymore. He's just a big boy. So he has 3 less wounds, but it means that he's not got a degrading stat line, which is awesome. So he's 12-inch move, 2+2+, 4 toughness 6, 9 wounds, 6 attacks, leadership 9 and 2+ save. The Bale Flamer, 2d3, 6 minus 2 damage, auto hits with 18-inch range. The Auto Cannon, heavy 3, 7 minus 1, 2 damage. The Magma Cutter, assault 1, 8 minus 4, d6 + 2. His Bladed Limbs went up to 6 minus 2, 2 damage, and 4 additional attacks with the Bladed Limbs on the Hellstalker. His Impaler Chainglaive makes him strength 6 minus 3, 2 damage, and if it charges, he gets +1 to the attack's wound roll. And the Mecha Tendrils are 4, and it gets 4 additional attacks on strength 4, no AP. The Technovirus Injector, each time the bearer makes a melee attack against a vehicle, it's +1 damage. So all those Mecha Tendrils, the Chainglaive, and the Bladed Limbs are all damage 3 or damage 2. And then you can take a Bale Flamer for your autocannon or a Technovirus Injector for a Magma Cutter. So I think I would just keep that because the melee is amazing. And then Corrupt Machine Spirits. In your command phase, this model can corrupt one of their enemy vehicle within 9, or one friendly Legion vehicle within 9. If it's enemy, roll a d6, a number of d6 equal to its wound characteristic, and for every 6 takes a mortal wound. If it's friendly, until the start of your next command phase, each time it makes a melee attack, get +1 to hit. And you can only corrupt once per turn. Spirit Thief. If this model destroys one or more enemy vehicles with a melee attack, until the end of the battle, it can use the Corrupt Machine Spirits ability twice in your command phase. Yeah, he's pretty cool. I like him. No, like he's a cool sort of like mounted Warpsmith. And the Warpsmith himself He's 3+2+, strength bonus 4, 5 wounds, 5 attacks. He's got the same baby profile increase, leadership 9, 2+ save. Flamer Tendril is pistol D6, strength 4, and then auto hits. Melta Tendril is a pistol 1, strength 8, -4, D6 +2. He's got some pretty cool shootiness. Plasma Pistol, Exalted Power Axe, +2, -2, and 2 damage. Mecha Tendrils in melee are 4 extra attacks at strength 4, and the Thunder Hammers ×2, -2, D3 damage, 3 damage. I think you would always still take the Thunder Hammer over the Power Axe. And he's a Master of Mechanisms. In your movement phase, repair a friendly Legion vehicle within 3 for D3 lost wounds. Enrage Machine Spirits in your command phase. You can enrage a friendly Legion vehicle within 3 if you do so until the start of your next command phase. Each time a vehicle model makes a ranged attack, add 1 of the attack's hit roll. And you can only enrage them once per turn. It's the same as the, almost same as Corrupt Machine Spirits. Dark Apostle, your priest. There's a Cursed Courier, +2, -1, 2 damage. Got that extra wound and 2 extra attacks, or 1 extra attack. Disciples is just poor humans. He's got an Icon of Corruption for a 4+ invul. Demagogue, Legion Core, Demonkin, and Cultist within 6 can use his leadership. And then Dark Disciples. Each time you get a chance of prayer, if it contains any Dark Disciples, add +1 to determine if the prayer is heard. And you're ignoring them for morale purposes because you don't care about them. An Exalted Champion, 2+2+, strength up to 4, 5 wounds and 5 attacks. Got that bonus wound. Combi Melta, Exalted Power Axe, Frag and Crack. No weapon swaps. You're just using that miniature as is, unfortunately. So it's a one way to build it plastic miniature, which is the norm now for GW, but no making your own custom Exalted Champions, unfortunately, unless you're arming them exactly that way. And then the Dark Commune, man, these models are amazing. Like, the Mind Witch makes me so happy because he's the head. His head's been like detached partially from his body. Oh, he's so cool. The Iconarch, the Blessed Blade, and the Cult Demagogue. They have an old school cool to them that I think is really, really rad. So this kind of Royal Court, they're just humans, so 4s across the board, 4+4+, strength up is 3, 3 wounds for the big characters, 2 and 1 for the Blessed Blades and the Iconarch. Leadership 7, 6+ save, man, they're just there to die. Everybody's got auto pistols. Some people have close combat weapons and auto pistols. And then a Commune Blade for the Blessed Blades. And it's -3, 2 damage. The Blessed Blade's no joke. And the Commune staves D3 damage -1. While this unit contains a Cult Demagogue, its morale tests are automatically passed. And the Iconarch Aura, Legion Cultist within 6 of the Iconarch model, add 2 to the leadership characteristic of the models in that unit. Each time a model in that unit makes an attack, reroll hit roll a 1. And that does mean that you are a Legion Cultist unit, so you are Legion, Traitors, Astartes, and you are a Cultist unit, so you become Leadership 9 as long as that model is still alive. Because you'll qualify for it yourself. You get to reroll hit rolls a 1. And then Priest, you know the Dark Zealotry and 1 other prayer. In your command phase, you can chant it 3+. And the unit's Mind Witch can manifest 1 psychic power and deny 1 psychic power. It knows Smite and a Dark Hereticus, and each time it attempts to deny the Witch, manifest psychic power or perform an action, measure distance, and draw line of sight from that Mind Witch model. If an enemy unit has any abilities that require doing it, you do it from that model. So you have 1 little like psyker in your unit too. They're just cute. I just think it's cool to have them. Like, I think they'd be cool little like ally detachment to have because it's just they're the humans that follow the Chaos Space Marines around. And they don't live a great life, but the models are amazing. I don't think they're particularly good, but I would take them just to paint. Legionaries, there it is. 2 wounds, leadership 8. Oh man, it's armed to the teeth with bolt pistols, bolt guns, frag and crack grenades. 1 model can have a Chaos Icon. Any number of Legionaries can have a replace their bolt gun with a Strate's Chainsword, but you can't have both anymore. So no more Space Pirates with Chainswords, Bolters, and bolt pistols. I love them. That was the best. And then 1 bolt gun can be replaced with a heavy chain axe. 1 bolt gun can be replaced with a Balefire tome. And for every 5 models in this unit, a Legionary's bolt gun can replace one of the following: a plasma pistol, a special weapon, or a heavy weapon. So basically the new box set that came in Kill Team, was it Chalnath? Yeah, Chalnath. You can use that tome. So while this unit contains a model with a Balefire tome, this unit has a psychic keyword and can attempt to manifest psychic power from in your psychic phase and deny 1 in your opponent's psychic phase. It knows Smite and 1 psychic power from the Dark Hereticus discipline. Each time this unit attempts to deny the Witch, you measure from that model. So you can make them psychic, which is kind of neat just for your troop choice to be able to do psychic actions. That's a big deal. So now they can do psychic actions, buy off the ability to shoot and have them not fail. Cultist mob, it's just a bunch of poor slob humans. 4+4+, strength up is 3, 6+ save. They got auto pistols, brutal assault weapons, frag and crack. They can trade it for auto pistol and brutal assault weapon for a cultist firearm, which is basically like a mix of whatever you want to call them. They could be auto guns or shotguns or whatever. And then your cursed cultists are the super mutated ones. They have 2 attacks. That's it. And their leadership's 6. They're slightly more crazy. This unit cannot contain more than 3 torment models if it contains, unless it contains 10 mutant models. And the torments are strength 5, 3 wounds each, 2d3 attacks, and they have hideous mutation. So they're -2 AP and 2 damage. The other ones have blasphemous appendages, which is -1 AP. So like you have the bigger guys hidden inside the fodder, and they hit a lot harder at strength 5. With 2d3 attacks each at -2 damage too. They're actually no joke. This unit cannot perform actions and cannot embark in transports. At the start of your command phase, you can select one of the following. Either get 3 models back or 1 torment. So 3 mutants or 1 torment back. So they self-heal. They're fearsome, -1 leadership for enemies within 6, and then unnatural regeneration, they have a 6+ wound shrug. And then mutant rabble, all the mutants are ignored for the purpose of morale tests. So you don't care about morale if just the basic guys die. And you can have up to 16 models in the unit, so 3 mutants, and I think it's going to come in a box in 8, it looks like. It'll be 5 mutants and 3 torments per box, so 2 boxes would give you 10 mutants and 6 torments. Which means you have 10 ablative wounds, 3 coming back in your command phase every turn to get them there, to get the torments fighting. They actually seem like a pretty cool troop choice. They're not core though. Neither the other, the other cultists. So don't be counting on them for much. Terminator's got that extra wound, extra attacks, Master of Executions, extra wounds. His Trophy Taker ability, if you attack a character, you can roll a wound roll. And then Warp-Sided Butcher, you get the big old 6-inch heroically intermediate as long as you're going towards a character. Possessed, gorgeous new models. 9-inch movement, so the Possessed have basically just become the Greater Possessed, it looks like. So they have 5 wounds each, strength toughness 5, sorry, 3, not 5 wounds, 5 attacks, 3 wounds each, strength toughness 5. So they're big beefy guys, leadership 9, 3+ save. And they have their hideous mutations that are damage 2. So it looks like the 4 to 9 Possessed and 1 Possessed champion are all the Greater Possessed now, unless those guys are still in here. I don't think they are. No, I don't see them at all. The Greater Possessed have just become Possessed, it looks like. Yeah, they've just replaced that whole profile. So your old Possessed and little bases are gonna have to go on big bases, it looks like. I think the new ones are on 40s and they're big. Chosen, 4 to 9 guys. They're 3 wounds and 3 attacks each, leadership 9. They got bolt guns. They can be given all kinds of different special weapons. And they're chosen. The first time this unit destroys an enemy unit until the end of the battle, they're considered to be engaged in every type of destruction. And then your Hellbrute, toughness 7, strength 6. He's got 8 wounds and it's weird he's strength 6, because he's not quite a dreadnought anymore, I guess. 5 attacks, leadership 8 and a 3+ save. Has a missile launcher and a twin heavy bolter. You can give him a plasma cannon, heavy flamer, combi bolter, missile launcher, multi-melter, reaper autocannon, twin heavy bolter, twin las cannon, or a Hellbrute fist, which is strength 12 -3 damage. And every time you fight, if you're equipped with 2 Hellbrute fists, you get additional attack. And with one of those weapons. And then your Hellbrute hammer is ×2 -4 d6. I hate d6 damage weapons, they're so inconsistent. And you're -1 to hit. Honestly, the fist is almost always better, because you're not -1 to hit and you're flat 3. Then you are Power Scourge for +1 -2 damage, and you get 3 additional attacks, so 8 attacks. And you got Monstrous Resilience, -1 damage, the typical Dreadnought thing. You blow up on a 6. And then Frenzy, if you have 7 or less wounds, you reroll wound rolls of 1 for everything, shooting and melee. And you are core. As are Noise Marines. Noise Marines, 2 wounds each, 3 attacks. Get your Blast Master, which is 8 -3 damage if it's heavy, and then Assault 6, 5 -2, 1 damage if it's not. Such a good versatile unit. Or you can take bolt guns, sorry, or you also have bolt guns, sorry. Any number of Sonic Marines can have their bolt gun replaced with one of the following: a chainsword or a Sonic Blaster. Sonic Blaster's Assault 3, 4, -1 damage. The Noise Marine Champion can have a Sonic Blaster, a Doom Siren, or an Icon of Slanesh. And one Noise Marine can be replaced with a Blastmaster. So the guy who's got the big guitar is your Blastmaster in the unit. And then Sonic Weapons, each time an attack's made within half range, you're +1 damage. So all your Sonic Blasters are damage 2 within 12 at Assault 3. The Venom Crawler. I love this miniature. He was pretty good in the game previously, but like, I mean, the whole Chaos Space Marine Army list was a bit all over the place or dated. He's strength 7 now, so he got a strength bonus, and he's 3+3+ instead of 4+4+. He doesn't degrade. That's the key. 9 wounds. I'll take 1 less wound for no degrading stat line every single day. 2 extra attacks, leadership 8, 3+ save. He's got his 5+ invul. He blows up. While friendly Legion Psychers within 9, he gets +1 to psychic tests because he's a reservoir of energy. Yep, that's just a flat, no power point increase really, but a flat better model. It hits better and easier. It's got better strength, 1 less wound, 2 extra attacks, and doesn't ever degrade. Cannons, Assault 3, 6 -2 damage. Soul Flare Tendrils and Claws, user -3, 2 damage. If only you could take more than one of them as a unit. Man, because you'd fill up your fast so fast, but I would take 3 of these. They're not that expensive. Man, I want all the Venom Crawlers. I want all the Venom Crawlers. I wish I hadn't given mine to Owen, and I'm pretty sure he sold them. Venom Crawler points. Fast attack, Venom Crawlers, 105 points. Yep, every game I'd take 3. Those are great. Just to like bomb towards people moving 12 inches. Spawns, still just fun, 1 to 5, 7-inch move, weapon skill 4+, strength toughness 5, 4 wounds, 2d3 attacks, -2 damage for the Hades mutation, that's cool. -1 leadership if you're within 6 for fearsome aura, and then mutated beyond reason, can't perform actions, and when you fight in the fight phase, roll a d3 and you get the following mutation. Razor Claws, your AP's -4, grasping pseudopods, you get 3d3 attacks, and toxic hemorrhage. Reroll the wound roll when you make attacks. And then hideous regeneration. Each time the unit shoots or fights, after it's finished making its attacks, if any model in the unit loses any wounds as a result of those attacks but was not resolved, sorry, each time an enemy unit shoots or fights, after it finishes making its attacks, if any model in this unit lost any wounds but wasn't destroyed, you regain all your wounds. So you have to kill them completely, or they just come back to full wounds every time. So never chip damaging spawns. That's actually a very interesting, resilient ability. Because you have 4 wounds each and a 5+ save. They don't have a wound shrug or anything like that, but you can just drop them on something and they can't be chip damaged. Chaos Bikes, 2 to 8 models and a champion, so you could have 9 models total. It's a weird unit size. 14-inch move. I know why they sell them in 3s. 3 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 8, 3+ save. Combi bolters. They're interesting if they're costed cheaply. They can have an icon. They can turbo boost and just go 6 instead of rolling. Yeah. 2 special weapons. Or combi weapons. Your Raptors with 2 wounds are pretty cool. 3 attacks base. 3+3+. Starry's Chainsword's pretty standard. You can have 2 Raptors have plasma pistols or special weapons. And then your bolt pistol can be a plasma pistol for your champion. And you can take a power sword or a power fist. So no lightning claws on your unit champion there. But if you take them as warp talons, everybody gets warp claws. You reroll wound rolls and you're -2/1 damage. 5+ invul. And each time an enemy unit, excluding a monster or vehicle, is in engagement range of this unit and fall back, roll off. And if you win, they can't fall back. Your Havocs, toughness 5 with their big heavy armor and 2 wounds. 3+ armor save, 3 attacks each. They have Astartes, Chainswords, and Flamers on the champion. The 2 Havocs are equipped with Havoc autocannons and 2 are equipped with Las cannons. So they come with 2 Las cannons and 2 autocannons. 1 Havoc champion, sorry, you can take a melee weapon for your Chainsword for the champion. And your Flamer can be a bolt gun, a plasma pistol, or a special weapon, or a melee weapon. And then any number of Havocs can replace their autocannon or Las cannon with a heavy weapon from the heavy weapon list. So you can still take the other stuff. And then you have Stabilizer Talons. You can move and fire. No penalty to hit rolls for moving and firing. Yeah, I mean, Built-in weapons can move and fire. They're pretty great. And toughness 5. Your obliterators, strength toughness 5, 5 wounds, 4 attacks. Leadership 9, 2+ save. Your flesh metal guns, you select one of the following profiles. No rolling anymore. Warpel is heavy D6+9, so you're at least strength 10. Heavy D6+9 shots, my bad. So you're at least 10 shots. Strength 5 -1 damage. Ruinous salvo is D3+3 shots. It's strength 7 -2, 2 damage. Or heavy D3, strength 9 -3, 4 damage. So focused malice. So you take 3 of them. Then you're going to throw 3d3 strength 9 -3, 4 damage shots on 3s. Your crushing fists are always ×2 -3, 2 damage. So you strength 10. 5+ invul. And then unrelenting firepower. You can never suffer from penalties to hit for firing heavy weapons in the same turn they move. Models in this unit do not suffer the penalty to hit rolls incurred for firing if you move. Models in this unit can make attacks at ranged weapons even while they're in engagement range, but each model can only make such attacks against enemy units in their engagement range if they do so, and you're -1 to hit. So they basically count as vehicles for shooting into combat when they're in combat. Your Land Raider still degrades, 3+, strength 8, toughness 9! Toughness 9! Oh my god, give the Astartes Land Raider toughness 9. Toughness 9 Land Raider. Oh, is it enough to make the Land Raider worth taking? I don't know, but toughness 9 is pretty crazy. 16 wounds, 6 attacks, 2+ save. You let the galaxy burn, you can still explode. You carry 10 Legion infantry, and every Terminator in possess takes up 2 spaces. It cannot transport Cult of Destruction or jump pack models. I don't know, toughness 9, is it worth it? Your heavy 2, 9 -3, D6+2 las cannons, and a twin heavy bolter. Toughness 9, 16 wounds, and a 2+ save. It doesn't have an invul, but you could give it an invul with your Master Possession. Or even just like your units could do it, because they have their own Psychers now. And it is heavy support. I like that they did this. 265 points. So it's actually not that expensive either. I don't know, toughness 9 Land Raider. Toughness 9 is pretty crazy. It actually makes for some thinking about considering taking it. You haven't seen Land Raiders on the table in a minute, but that's a cool shift. Your Vindicators, toughness 8. So man, Space Marine vehicles might be getting a leg up right now. 12 wounds, 3 attacks. Demolishers, heavy D3+3, strength 10 -4 blast, and D6 damage. And your Vindicator Siege Shield, each time a ranged attack is allocated to the bearer, add 1 of the saving throws made for that against that attack. So it has its own cover, basically, against ranged attacks. It says 2+ save. Again, it makes the Vindicator interesting. Its gun's very one-dimensional, right? But it's a good hard target gun. It's strength 10. And I don't think it's actually that expensive. You definitely wouldn't want to fight Vindicators with Knights, right? Because they're toughness 8. And 2+ save. And how are we looking for point cost for a Vindicator? Heavy support, cast Vindicator. 130 points. Only 130 points. So 3 of those is 390. It's 400 points out of 2,000. It's a fifth of your army. I don't know. That's really cheap for what I can do. And then Chaos Preds, toughness 8 as well. 11 wounds. Las cannons, Predator auto cannons, they explode, let the galaxy burn. They're relatively cheap as well. Only 140 points for Predator auto cannon. And then its sponsons cost 20 points for 2 more las cannons. 2 heavy bolters and 2 las cannons. I think the Vindicator is probably better if you're looking for dedicated anti-tank. That's a legit 130 point murder gun. And then Chaos Predator Annihilators, they just come stock out of the gates with those las cannons for 130 points. And then it's got heavy bolters, twin soul shatter las cannon. The Defiler, are you good again? You're 200 points. But your strength 8, toughness 7, 14 wounds, you do degrade. Defiler cannons, heavy D6, 8 -2, 3 damage and blast. And it comes with the Reaper autocannon, twin heavy flamer, and Defiler claws. So 2d6 shots to heavy flamer. Reaper autocannon, 7 -2, heavy 4, and only 1 damage. And the Defiler claws are ×2 -3, D6 damage. Are you cheap though? That's the thing. you're 165, not 200. I'm guessing based on the power there. 165. I don't know if he was toughness 8, maybe. Toughness 7 doesn't do it for me. Forge Fiend was ectoplasm cannon, D3, strength 7 minus 3 damage and blast. Hades autocannon. He gets 2 of those, so he's heavy 8, basically 8 minus 2 damage. If he wants the 2 of them, he can swap for an ectoplasm cannon, or he can put the jaw in for a ectoplasm cannon. And then the Mauler Fiend still gets that siege crawler. If it charges, you ignore all the modifiers to the roll. Rhino toughness 7, 10 wounds. It's a Rhino. What else can you say? Helldrake. Strength toughness 7, 7 wounds. It is a flyer. Assault 2d3, 6 minus 2 damage for the Balefire Flamer, which you can swap the autocannon for. And the autocannon's heavy 4, 8 minus 2 damage. Helldrake Claws are strength 7 with 5 attacks. Minus 2 damage, and it's damage 4 against other aircraft. Each time you declare a charge with this model, you can only select aircraft units as the targets, so you can only charge aircraft. But if you hover with it, you lose Airborne Predator, and then you can actually charge ground targets with it too. Hard to hit, -1 to attacks hit roll. And Hunter of the Skies, when you attack a flyer, you get +1 to hit. So, an anti-flyer flyer. And then your Lord of War, the Khorne Lord of Skulls. Strength toughness 8, 30 wounds. I like that the Lander is tougher than the Lord of Skulls. 6 attacks, leadership 8, 2+ save, 30 wounds. Gorestorm Cannon is its core thing. Heavy 3d3, 9 minus 2, 3 damage and blast. It has a Hades Gatling Cannon, which is heavy 12, 8 minus 3, 2 damage, and a Great Cleaver of Khorne, which can either be strength 16, -4, 6 damage, or slashing. It's going to have 18 attacks at strength 8, -3, 2 damage. That's pretty legit. And you can replace the Gorestorm Cannon with an Ichor Cannon. With a Demon Gore Cannon or Ichor Cannon. Ichor Cannon's 7 -3, 2 damage blast with heavy D6 × 3. And the Demon Gore Cannon is heavy D6, 10 -4, D3 + 3 blast. It can charge if it falls back. Each time a model makes a normal move advances, it can move across other models. And then Unstoppable Wrath, this model can make attacks with blast weapons against enemies in engagement range. Each time an attack is made against the model's engagement, you get to add 1 to the attack's hit roll, so it can still shoot in combat. And a Noctilith Crown. All right, this crazy terrain piece. So it has Malevolent Locust. It's toughness 8, strength 8, 14 wounds, 3+ save, 4+ ballistic skill, and its lashing warp energies are assault 8, -2 damage. The Malevolent Locust, while a friendly traitorous Astartes unit is wholly within range of this ability, each model has a 4+ invul save against ranged attacks. One enemy units within range of this, I subtract 1 for the leadership for non-chaos models in that unit. The range changes based on the battle round, so it grows. So the first turn it's a 6-inch range, it goes up to 18 on turn 5+. Explodes on a 6, Loathsome Insights. While there's any friendly Noctilith Crown models in the battlefield, Traitor Astartes Priests and Psychers gain the following action. Loathsome Insight. At the end of your movement phase, 1 Traitor Astartes Priest or a Psycher from your army, wholly within 9 of the Noctilith Crown, can perform this action. If the action is completed, you gain a command point and roll 2d6 against your leadership. If you pass, if it's equal to or less, then select a prayer or psychic power that you have access to. At the end until the end of the battle, that prayer or psychic power replaces the one that you know. So you can just change them out, basically. Now, it's 5 power. It's like 100 points for that thing. I don't know, the 4+, because it's just any Traitor Astartes unit, so everything gets the 4+ invul save. Or was it 4+ or 5+? Everything gets it. So you can just stick your Havocs next to it. 100 points for a 4+ invul save for everybody. And I don't know. And it gets bigger, right, over the course of the game. And it still shoots for 100 points. It's going to be Assault 8 with a 6-inch range. It's not that long range. All right, you got your weapon profiles and your point values. And you're going to get to see all those for free because they've done the whole point value update from Chapter Approved at this point. So, yeah, man, that's part 1. There's 8 more parts to this review, and that took a while. So, Chaos Space Marines. Well, I mean, the last couple 40K Codex reviews I've done, you've heard me talk about this like low to 40K. This is a lot. Not necessarily from the point of view of the person playing it, because we went through the core army list right now. It's about the same as another core army list. And on top of that, you're going to select another Legion stuff to lay over top of that. But your opponent is probably going to have no idea how the combos work. I feel like this is more of a stressful codex to play against, probably, for the foreseeable future, than it is to play as. Because once you pick your Legion, you know what you're using, and you're probably not going to mix and match. But there's so much possibility in here, and it's a big, thick book, and it's a bit intimidating to actually like approach. I had to sit and think, like, how am I going to do this review? And I was like, well, this honestly feels like how I had to tackle the review for the Liber Hereticus for Horus Heresy. And I feel like it was the right call. So, again, there's 8 more of these to do. I'm like midweek right now, and the weekend's coming up fast. I've got like 3 more days to finish this. So I'm going to try and get through all 8. If I don't, I apologize. But you've gotten to see the core stuff in here at least. I'm going to try and get your favorite Legions done. I'm going to start with the Legions and then do the Bile and Red Corsairs last. And check it out. But yeah, 40K is dense and dense and dense. I'm glad that so far, I haven't done all the Legions yet, obviously, but what's in here is mirroring what's in here. So at least that was kind of thought up in advance, and they'll probably just, I'm hoping, just print the Nephilim stuff in the upcoming codexes. I imagine they would. It makes sense. So you're basically getting a preview of all your codex stuff that's to come in there. And I'm glad it didn't like outdo anything, because it specifically says in this book, ignore your codexes. So my thought is, what it's actually saying is ignore any codexes printed before Codex Chaos Space Marines and use what's in here. Don't use what's in your codex, use this. But it does mean that like they kind of have to reprint what's in here in these going forward, not print something different. Unless they like make an addendum, do an addendum, and they decide they want to change it. I don't know. As long as this is in effect though, basically, I'm assuming they're going to reprint what's in there in the upcoming codexes. So never fear, you have all your information in one book. You don't necessarily, I mean, you still need the scenarios to play, so you're still going to take this with you to come play your games. But it isn't contradictory in any way. You're not discarding anything. They didn't not think of that when they printed the Chaos Space Marine book. So I liked that. So anyway, big thanks for watching. Go check out your favorite Legion and or Space Pirates and or Fabius Bile video today, hopefully, to find out what's laying on top of this set of special rules. I do feel like the Chaos Space Marines are on a power level now with the Imperial, sort of like, counterparts. And there's going to be some interesting builds because there's a lot of options in here. It's a lot to absorb though. And yeah, smarter folks than me will tell you what's good and not good. I'm just here to break it down and tell you how it's going to work. I'm not 100% sure what's going to be good, but it does feel like there's been some effort made for unit drops and point value drops to encourage you to use models you might not be using right now, like the Venom Crawler, the Lord Discordant, the Obliterators in particular, the Land Raider, and those are pretty tempting. 100 point Venom Crawlers seem pretty legit. I don't know. I like weird little units like that, and the Cultist stuff seems cool too. So, big thanks for watching. We'll see you for the rest of the reviews today, and more in the future. It's on a mash. Have a good night. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that video. There are tons of other games all recorded for you to watch. Click over to my channel page if you haven't already, and have a look through the dozens of playlists full of videos. I guarantee you'll discover a game you haven't seen played before. I put out new videos 7 days a week, and every day is themed to a different genre as I continue to explore the wider world of gaming. Of course, none of that's possible without you, the viewer, so click a like and subscribe if you'd like to stay on top of what's happening here daily. My 2 kids and I are massively grateful to be able to have the flexibility of this job so I can always maximize my time with them. If you want to support me continue to put out this content, it's only possible because of my amazing backers on Patreon who support the studio, equipment, and model cost, as well as being how I make the bulk of my living. You can also help out by buying a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, a measuring gauge or widget from Death Ray Designs, or buying one of my games and supplements like Last Days, Gamma Wolves, and Blaster. As a way of showing my appreciation, patrons get early access to new games and supplements that I write throughout the course of the year. Huge thanks for watching, it really does help out, and happy gaming.